Oh! Folks, that was brutal, and so much more so since we draw the Nissa Vital Force for the turn. That was an absolutely brutal occasion. I am in a little bit of stunned disbelief at that top deck. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Today's jank is an historic, and I like to refer to this as another journey, because I have been trying to play Journey to Eternity since it was released in Ixalan to varying degrees of success. I don't think there's anything that's going to be real surprising here, but a lot of end of the battlefield effects on creatures so that we can return them from the graveyard to the battlefield. A notable exception to cards we are playing that you might expect for me to play would be Panharmonicon. I just couldn't justify it. We need to be pretty creature heavy, but we also want to have a fair amount of interaction as well. So things like the Vraska Golgari Queen serve as a sacrifice outlet to flip our journey, but also as interaction, destroying non-land permanents, 3 CMC or less. Maelstrom Pulses, obviously destroying non-land permanents. There's one of Assassin's Trophies, some Village Rites to help flip Journey to Eternity, as well as card draw. So I just couldn't find a place for Panharmonicon. But there are Ravenous Chupacabras. When it enters, destroy a creature. Plaguecrafters. When it enters, everybody sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Of course, we can keep returning it to the battlefield. Journey to Eternity, it will sacrifice itself, and we just return it to the battlefield again next turn, right? Mire Triton helps fill the bin, but also is a 2/1 Death Touch, so if we keep returning it over and over because there's nothing better to return, we gain 2 life and have a 2/1 Death Touch. There are definitely worse things. Of course, Llanowar Elves helping to get Journey to Eternity out quickly. Oftentimes, even on itself, is good. Like, turn 1 Llanowar, go. They go, like, whatever, tap land. We go, okay, Journey to Eternity on Llanowar Elves right on turn 2, and then the opponent's got to get rid of it with some kind of exile effect or something, or we're in trouble. That said, there is Woe Strider as well for another sacrifice outlet. Of course, the thing we're really interested in Journey to Eternity back as often as possible is Thragtusk. When it enters, gain 5 life. When it leaves, create a 3/3. We can do an awful lot of grinding with this, folks, and really looking forward to it. Then some Nissa Vital Force, just for a lot, since we're kind of grindy. She ultimates very quickly. She comes down as a 5, you plus to 6, and you can attack with that 5/5. So if there's nothing going on, she can end the game very quickly. But plus to 6, then if you ultimate, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card, right? So that can really, if we've been able to successfully keep the board clean, things like that, it can really earn dividends in the long game. And it only takes 1 turn cycle of a lull in the action to be able to make that happen. So very strong here, especially, again, when you're grinding. Notably, though, we can also -3 return a permanent card from the graveyard to our hands. Since we have so many ways of sacrificing stuff, maybe we don't have Journey to Eternity going, but we cast a Nissa Vital Force and return a Ravenous Chupacabra to our hand that's in the bin or something, right? So can do things. Obviously, just a 1 of Great Henge. Lots of end of the battlefield-y stuff, drawing millions and millions of cards if we get that to work, but just a 1 of it isn't really the main theme. And a lot of our creatures are smaller. It's less likely to be very, like, it's not going to be like a turn 4 Great Henge or anything, right? After Thragtusk, it becomes affordable. It's, at that point, it's only a 4-mana Great Henge on, like, turn 6 or something. But yeah, I mean, it's less expensive. That said, a couple of Agadeem's Awakening, a couple of Turntimber Symbiosis, some lands, a little Locthwain action, and, that's a deck. So we're really hoping we can draw. This is mainly built, folks, because we've been seeing a lot of like mono red stuff on the ladder and things, and having plenty of interaction. Life gain here. 2-for-1s in Ravenous Chupacabra when you can both kill something and then also block, not just chump. Obviously, gaining millions of life with Thragtusk and stuff. Gaining some life with Great Henge. Darn it, we're really hoping to do our best to prey on that. We also actually gain some life with Vraska if we actually sacrifice things as well. So that's what we're hoping to see. We really don't want to see, like, mono blue tempo. We're too slow for that. We don't want to see things like, I don't know, probably like even, believe it or not, the Rakdos like sacrifice deck, or maybe the Jund sacrifice deck. I don't think they would be terrible matchups, but I don't think they're very good either. So definitely matchups we're hoping to avoid. Hopefully though, we could also maybe get into some other mid-rangey piles. I think we're pretty strong against creature decks in general for the most part though. So I don't know. All right, folks, here we are up against Jay Mirrlees. Good luck, Jay Mirrlees. And yeah, I think we're going to keep this. We will need to draw land, but we have a turn 1 Llanowar Elves on the play. Typically a good place to be. Our Woodland Cemeteries are tap lands right now because we have neither a swamp nor a forest yet, but that's okay. We did draw another Woodland Cemetery. Just getting another land. Very, very good. No, darn it. We really wanted to have that on the battlefield. Darn it. And no land either. Brazen Borrower setting us back a full turn cycle. Might be enough to win the game for our opponent. We will see. Really wanted to get down a Mire Triton and just continue advancing our board. If it turns out they don't do anything worth... Okay, so they don't do anything we need to Maelstrom Pulse. So, setting us back a turn, not ideal, but also definitely not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and get in for 1. Yep. Cast a Mire Triton and pass. We are likely to just Nissa Vital Force this upcoming turn. Definitely a place we want to be if our opponent is not going to be doing lots of interacting, right? Nissa, she ultimates quick, folks, and boy, do I like this card. For the record, it's also a pretty quick clock. Already having... Oh, interesting. Yeah, Journey to Eternity is definitely the sort of card we would like to get down. We are going to go ahead and animate a Blooming Marsh. We will not attack, though. This Khazad-dû Mammoth can cause our Nissa problems, and we would rather not have problems, all things considered. Obosh the Prey Piercer is our opponent's companion, notably added to hand. Oh boy, going to be able to double up the damage of odd converted mana cost permanents. Okay, Brazen Borrower going to bounce Nissa back to hand. That's Brazen Borrower number 2. Very, very annoying. Dislike that. But here we are. These things are okay, I guess. Nissa Vital Force returning to the battlefield. Yet again, Blooming Marsh being activated. Yet again. We're going to pass. All right, folks. Notably, not swinging with Blooming Marsh there meant that our opponent could have swung in and attacked Nissa Vital Force rather than bouncing it, because they could have just put the Blooming Marsh back into our hand instead. Or I'm sorry, the Mire Triton back into our hand instead if we had swung with Blooming Marsh. Notably, they could not do that. All right, well. All right. We are going to do it. We don't actually have a land drop just yet, which is unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. We are willing to accept that. We have an awful lot of land drops in the deck, folks. So I think just getting this emblem right now, not fooling around with it, probably the best course of action. Okay, Maelstrom Pulse, sure. Come on down. Oh, hey there. That's a good one. Yeah, well, we're going to do that. Right here, right now. Sure. Go on home. All right, well, yep, Thragtusk, get on in there. Khazad-dû Mammoth likely to trade, but that's okay. I think our opponent's deck likely has Genesis Ultimatums and things that... Oh, boy, they don't. Yeah, I was going to say. So our opponent having Genesis Ultimatum could be potentially problematic, pumping the Khazad-dû Mammoth to ridiculous sizes, you know? Ooh, Edgewall, Innkeeper. Yuck. All of these things are bad. Yep. Sure. Brazenbauer. Coming in for 3. Sure enough, this is fine. Hey, that's a good one. Well, let's Journey to Eternity, our Ravenous Chupacabra, and then, boom, Plaguecrafter. Yes, please, we're going to go ahead and sacrifice Ravenous Chupacabra to return the Journey to Eternity flipped, but also return Ravenous Chupacabra to the battlefield as well. Sure, I guess we're just going to kill the Edgewalling Keeper. We don't need our opponent drawing a bunch of cards here, I think. Yes, we will absolutely draw the card with Nissa Vital Force, though. Thank you very much indeed. And it's a Vraska Golgari Queen that joins the party. All right, well, we're going to try and keep Vraska Monsters Advocates loyalty in check here just a little bit, and the board as well. Okay. Opponent just trading their board off for portions of ours. Does that mean there's a Genesis Ultimatum on the way? Boy, boy, I hope not. I hope not. But we will find out. Opponent gets down Obosh, the Prey Piercer, and a 3/3 as well. Fair enough, opponent. Well, we're going to play a land, draw a card. All right, it's another land. All right. Vraska Golgari Queen, come on down. Kill ourselves a 3/3. Maelstrom Pulse, join the party, get rid of that Obosh. We're going to go ahead and take the chance that they do not have a 1-mana bounce spell or something like that, and just kill this Vivien Monsters Advocate. We really did not want Vivien Monsters Advocate to survive, but I think it was worth the risk, considering our opponent clearly on mainly a, an adventure-style package here. Indeed, fair enough. Not a big deal there. Not a big deal at all. We're going to go ahead, tick up, sacrifice Plaguecrafter, draw a card. Hey, there we go. Blooming Marsh, also going to draw a card. Yes, please. We were, of course, thinking about just bringing Plaguecrafter directly back. It definitely puts our opponent in a bad spot. And sure enough, Jay Murley's says, I have had enough of this nonsense. And ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing home the game. GG, opponent. GG. Oh, folks. Our hand currently does nothing until turn 4. That is not a good place to be in Historic. We do have 3 lands. We have some powerful 5-drops and things like that. Vraska does interact, but I think we've got to send this back, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that this hand is better, but at least it interacts, so we are going to hang on to this one. I think we're going to send back Turntimber Symbiosis. And probably lead on Blooming Marsh here. The Overgrown Tomb. Well, no, I guess we can lead on Overgrown Tomb. This is fine. Yeah. Well, more interaction. Not terrible at all. We often need to do that in Historic. And that is one of the strengths of being in Golgari. Plenty of interaction. Oh, my word. Burning Tree. Just the Burning Tree. Okay, I was worried that it was going to be like Burning Tree, Burning Tree, Burning Tree. Though, admittedly, we do have a really good foil to that plan right now in the Maelstrom Pulses. But, it would have been terrifying for them to, get down 4 Burning Trees and be able to swing for 8 and cast an Embercleave or something all on this turn, Holy crud. Definitely the sort of thing you have nightmares about when you've got a reactive hand, but a slow start, Okay. Ravenous Chupacabra coming on down, going to be able to cleanse at least the Burning Tree, if nothing else, next turn. Also a good target for Journey to Eternity, and we have the ability to flip it later on if our opponent does not interact. All right, 5 damage coming straight onto our noggin. Dislike that for sure. The Thragtusk, though, feels good, man. Yeah, Scroll Spellbreaker. Going to meet its end at the end of a beast horror puppy sort of thing. Jockey B. Looking things over. Is this some kind of fight spell? Yeah, Primal Might. Darn it. Not excited about that in the least bit, folks. We really wanted Burning Tree Emissary, or we really wanted Ravenous Chupacabra, I'm sorry, to hang out. Yeah, well, fine. I think we are just going to Maelstrom Pulse it. As sad as that makes us, we really don't want to bolt ourselves here. We could have bolted ourselves and got down a Thragtusk, but our opponent could easily have more interaction that way. So keeping the board relatively clean, not a bad idea. Zertog Goblin joining the party. All right, well, Thragtusk, come on down. Yep. 5 life gained, back up to 11. Much more comfortable life total than 6, let me tell you. All right, Bone Crusher Giant being cast, and the opponent passing? Oh, boy. Yes. Yes, please. All right. We're going to attack with Thragtusk here. Opponent just going to take it. Sure enough, drops to 12. We're going to pass turn. We're sitting on 11 here. Pretty comfortable life total, all things considered. And the opponent getting in. All right, we're going to respond by sacrificing Thragtusk. Yep. Bringing in a beast. Bringing back a Thragtusk. Flipping our Azkatal Cave of Eternity. Drawing 2 cards as well. Yeah, folks, that may or may not qualify. But I would go out on a limb to say that was a good turn. All right. We throw our Thragtusk in front of Zertog Goblin. And a beast in front of the Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent goes to combat. Trades off their board. Stuck on 3 mana is Jockey B. All right, Bone Crusher Giant joining the party yet again. All right, it's a 4/3 our turn. All right, so folks, primarily because I absolutely love runbacks, here's Thragtusk. With a Journey to Eternity, it may be a rerun, but oh boy, do I love it. All right. We're going to avoid having Embercleave things kill us and stuff here, or at least try to, and just get rid of the Bone Crusher Giant on the battlefield right here. We, of course, still have the ability to Village Rites our Thragtusk, should we feel inclined to do so, but you can't have more than one Azkatal Cave of Eternity anyway, so I think this is fine. Alright, well, let's get to combat, I guess. Jockey B, letting the damage through. Good grief. Wow. Alright, well, then I guess we're going to wait. We're, of course, going to reanimate Chupacabra. Kill their Burning Tree, but they could have, you know, something else, right? So we're going to wait for them to have that something else. All right. Ravenous Chupacabra coming back. Opponent in a bit of a spot here. Sure enough, it is Questing Beast. They did understand what was going on there, but considering we have 2 individually lethal threats, they recognize that that is, in fact, GG, and they scoop up their magic cards. Good game, opponent. Good game. All right, folks, we're up against Jefferson VDH. Good luck, Jefferson VDH. I think we've got to keep this hand. It is on the slower side, but we're playing a slow deck. You know, when you play a slow deck, you can't be surprised when you have a slower start. You know, we're not going to be able to have Llanowar Elves on turn 1 every time. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, yes, this hand does appear, you know, to be slow, but darn it, that's what we signed up for here. All right, this whole idea, or operation was your idea, you know? All right, Woe Strider, come on down. Yeah, going to create a goat and pass the turn. Sure. Jefferson VDH shocks in for a Mayhem Devil. And gets in with Dread Horde Butcher. Yeah, I guess we're going to trade. We're actually not going to sacrifice the goat just yet. If our opponent wants to ping down a goat, that's great. If not, it might serve to chump block a little bit later on in the game. Yeah, sure enough. Chupacabra going to come on down. Get this Mayhem Devil. Sure. Yep. Opponent thinking things over has called him familiar. All right, well, that is annoying, no question about it. But definitely not the end of the world. All right, well, we're going to Vraska, Golgari Queen. We're going to eat the Witch's Oven. Opponent going to sacrifice Call him familiar and return it. Yep. Has a spare food lying around to return the Call him familiar yet again, but getting rid of that Witch's Oven, very, very good here. We're, of course, saving the Maelstrom Pulse just in case things get out of hand. You know, if the opponent gets down multiple Priests of the Forgotten Gods or multiple Mayhem Devils or, heaven forbid, multiple Witch's Ovens or something, you know, it's valuable interaction to have. So I think sitting on it is probably better. It's true we could have Maelstrom Pulse and Mire Triton instead of Vraska here, but the board is relatively stable as it is. Wow, did not expect this whatsoever. Absolutely wild as far as I'm concerned, but this is glorious. Good heavens, yes please. Sign me up. Are they just gonna burn our Ravenous Chupacabra now? Oh, Woe Strider, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, let's just Thragtusk here. Go back up to 20. And pass the turn. Yep, Jefferson, VDH, thinking things over. Goes with Castle Locthwain for the 4th land drop. I'm sure they're excited to finally make that 4th land drop. Sure enough, Call a Death Dweller returning. Mayhem Devil with Death Touch going to shotgun our team. Unfortunate. Yep. Get that Call him familiar as well. But then, folks, Call him familiar can return using the food, which means they get to get that Ravenous Chupacabra to boot. Yeah, that was an absolutely brutal exchange here. Looks like getting rid of the Woe Strider would have been the correct call here in retrospect. But of course, you can't know, you know, what your opponent's going to be using. And I wouldn't say Call the Death Dweller is extremely common in these sorts of lists. You know, it definitely sees play. All right. Well, we're going to get rid of Mayhem Devil for sure. Opponent going to Woe Strider it back. Just for the scry. No, oh wow, Village Rites. Good heavens, that is so much worse. Alright, well. Mire Triton, going to make an appearance for us. Sure, mill over a couple of cards. It's a land and another Vraska. I think we're going to hang on to this last forest for, you know, just for bluffs and stuff. Opponent sitting on 4 cards and the Castle Locthwain. No, another Mayhem Devil. And the Witch's Oven. Folks, this could not have been worse. Our opponent just has the actual nuts over there. This is the actual best draw one could conceive of for our opponent's deck, I think. And, of course, we are drawing very, very poorly. For sure. All right. Woe Strider coming on back. Going to come back as a 5/4. Make a goat. We will Llanowar Elves as well. Sure. And pass. Yeah. All right. We are going to sacrifice it. Yes, that damage is inconvenient. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, wow. No, we definitely want that. Holy crud, do we want that. Yep. We dropped 12. Sure. Yeah, folks, the Witch's Oven and Mayhem Devil really puts our opponent in the driver's seat here. Oh, wow. Driver's seat? I mean, we're dead. Good heavens. Remember how I said they had the perfect draw anyone could conceive of? Boy, oh boy, was I not kidding about that. GG, opponent. Good heavens. Got our keister just absolutely handed to us. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, folks, we're on the draw here. But I'm not going to lie. I don't think I can throw this back. We need to draw into a small creature so that we can get Journey to Eternity onto it. But then we can Village Rites, draw a bunch of cards, flip the Journey to Eternity. We've got Thragtusk to continue reanimating and stuff. Yes, there are plenty of ways we can just absolutely get wrecked by keeping this hand, but I have a weakness for doing cool things, and here we are. Alright, well, Turntimber Symbiosis, entering tapped for sure. No reason to need to bolt it in later. Oh boy, and Call Familiar coming off top for our opponent. Well, folks, neither of these are small things. We need a little creature. Give me a Llanowar Elves or something. Might be a little late now, though, unfortunately. Alright, opponent just Village Ritesing away their Call Familiar, likely looking for a land drop. Sure enough, they find the swamp. And Thoughtseize! Shoot, man! No! Yeah, this is one of those ways this hand can go poorly. Oof. Yeah. Not a turn 1 Thoughtseize, but turn 2 Thoughtseize, sometimes just as brutal, if not more. You know, they actually see more cards, right? They take the Thragtusk? That must mean they've probably got another one, I guess. Alright, well, Blooming Marsh. Last turn to enter untapped. So this can at least be shocked in later. The others cannot. Folks, we did not draw a single smaller creature. We drew into another 5-drop. Admittedly, our opponent didn't want to see it, so they did get rid of it. That much is good. Istvan 78. Thinking things over. Gets down another Cauldron Familiar. We drain for 1, drop to 17. And a third Cauldron Familiar. We drop to 16. Priest of Forgotten Gods going to get in? No, of course not. Our opponent knows about Journey to Eternity and the Thragtusk as well. Alright. So alright. We're going to do this. We're not thrilled about it. Our opponent, doesn't sacrifice the Priest of Forgotten Gods, or the Cauldron Familiars to the Priest yet. That probably is worse, right? That probably means there's a bunch of really nasty things that can happen here. So, yeah, okay. Well, no blocks. We take 4. Opponent now going to sacrifice them, I assume. Of course, if we had blocked there, they sacrifice, do lots of damage and everything. All of it's inconvenient, right? But we don't want our opponent to be able to have it all, so to speak, and get our 3/3 as well. Now, 2 floating black mana means they still can, but they've got to actually spend a card to do it, if that's a thing they're intending to do. Okay, they have the Fatal Push. Good heavens, folks. Jeez Louise. Feels bad, man. All right, well, Thragtusk number 3 joining the party. We gain 5 more life back up to 18. We pass the turn. Yep. Opponent, with response at the end of the turn, they sacrifice Judith, the Scourge Diva, to deal 1 damage to our face, draw 2 cards. Likely looking for Witch's Oven, but probably just about anything from their perspective would be an improvement. They have gone through lots and lots of cards looking for all those answers, and they've spent a lot of answers handling our threats, right? But we have also gained 10 life. Okay, there is the Witch's Oven. That is definitely good for them. The Cauldron Familiar's a very, very important combo piece. Shocks in Blood Crypt. That's 4 mana available. What do you have to do with this Istvan? 3 cards remaining. Another Judith. All right. Yep. And our turn. Fair enough. Oh boy. That was a very, very good one. Ravenous Chupacabra. We're going to target their Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Opponent does decide to sacrifice it, sending a damage upstairs. Sure. All right, well, Journey to Eternity going on to Ravenous Chupacabra. Do you have a 1 mana removal spell, opponent? Could be Fatal Push. No, does not happen. All right, well, Thragtusk going to get in. We're trying to make sure to slow this game down just a little bit. Or, I'm sorry, speed this game up a little bit. Get a little damage in there. 5 damage is a lot, folks, for sure. Judith chooses to trade with the Thragtusk. We're actually pretty happy about that. Yeah, okay, so they choose not to trade with the Thragtusk. All right, fair enough. Call Familiar returns. All right. Yep. These things are fine. We drop to 15. Yeah. Istvan, 78. Looking at Ravenous Chupacabra. Spikefield hazards it. And then sacrifices Cauldron Familiar. Wow. All right. Oh, yeah, with Village Rites. Okay. These things are uncool, for sure. Almost saved the Village Rites up for this sort of scenario. Didn't do it, and now we're paying the price. All right. Priest of Forgotten Gods coming down. Yeah, folks got no one to blame but myself on this one. Sure. Drop to 12. All right. Well, let's make a land drop. I think we're going to pass for now. I'm definitely not thrilled about this. Sacrificing the Thragtusk very well may be the correct play, but there's no guarantee we draw into anything either. We have lots and lots of not ideal draws here. We will do it at their end turn if things go poorly. But of course, this Priest of Forgotten Gods can also... Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, this is all inconvenient. All right. Yes, we will block. All right, damage is dealt. Dreadhorde Butcher. 2 damage somewhere. Straight at the face. Judith. 1 damage to our Thragtusk. Well, we're going to sacrifice the Thragtusk. Finally draw those cards. Make a 3/3. All right. Into a Woe Strider. And an Agadeem's Awakening. Those are good things. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because we can get back a Thragtusk, among other things, should we choose to. But we're going to start on Woe Strider. And yeah, I think we're just going to immediately sacrifice the goat, draw more cards. We have 5 remaining mana. We have Nissas and all kinds of things we could draw into. Oh boy, or the Maelstrom Pulse. Yes, please. That is exactly the sort of thing we needed, folks. Witch's Oven. Going to go away. Finally, and thank heavens. Called Familiar. Returning to the battlefield. Going to be sacrificed yet again as well. I am certain. Yeah. The damage going upstairs, we drop to 7. Column Familiar left in the bin. All right. You got it. No attacks. We will pass. 7 life remaining, folks. Castle Locthwain going to cash in its activated ability for a card. Added to hand. Dropping to 16. Opponent maintaining priority. Thinking about that. Cauldron Familiar return to the battlefield. Do they want to be able to attack here? They probably do. Sure enough. Cauldron Familiar returns. We get drained down to 6. And the opponent takes another card draw. 1 is a swamp. Opponent looking through their graveyard. That is a terrible, terrible sign. All right. Opponent getting in with just the Cauldron Familiar. Yeah. No, and the Judith. Interesting. All right, well, we are 100% going to jump in front of everybody, taking as little damage here as possible. Damage dealt. Creatures go to the bin. Judith deals 1 damage to our beast, 1 damage to our face. We drop to 5. Sure enough. What is your final card, friend? 7 mana available. Five and 3. Not the best of them. It is Call the Death Dweller. We're not thrilled about that, but yeah, not surprised by it either. Oof. That is not an ideal draw. All right, so X equals 5. Bringing back Thragtusk and Woe Strider. We will pay the mana. Return the things to the battlefield for us as well. Yep, and pass the turn. You have got it. Castle Locthwain costing another life. And drawing a card for the turn. Istvan, thinking things over, goes to combat, gets in with Dreadhorde Butcher. This is definitely not a surprise. So we're going to block with our Woe Strider. Yep. And Dreadhorde Butcher going to deal the damage to Thragtusk. And it will go to the bin because, of course, Dreadhorde Butcher had Death Touch there. Inconvenient, but understandable. Opponent Thought seizes our forest. Loses 2 life for the luxury. Thinking things over. Has the fatal push for the 3/3, leaving a lonely goat. Fair enough. Castle Locthwain paying a life for the card. It's a land. Bajuka Bog exiling our graveyard! Oh! Folks, that was brutal, and so much more so since we draw the Nissa Vital Force for the turn. That was an absolutely brutal occasion. I am in a little bit of stunned disbelief at that top deck. Blood Artist coming on down. Opponent paying life. Drops to 13. Another Blood Artist. Looking awfully close to being able to kill us here. Sure enough, opponent sacrificing, doing lots and lots and lots of draining. Causing us to have to sacrifice a creature to drain a little bit more. Opponent, 2 mana remaining. Oh my goodness. And then... oh my goodness. Alright, well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, so we're gonna cash in Nissa Vital Force to draw the card. And we draw to the Journey to Eternity! Oh, all of this is terrible, folks, and sure enough, the opponent going to bring home the win. Oh, ha 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 ha. Yeah. GG, opponent. GG. You have gotten us. All right, so the opponent wanting to BM just a little bit, and that is okay. You earned it, Istvan. You earned it. GG. Looking at the deck again, and honestly, it performed pretty okay. Today was uncut, unfiltered, right? So you see them all, just a couple of wins and a couple of losses. I think things went relatively well for the most part, but there were, as it turns out, I believe I even mentioned it in the deck. I believe I mentioned it in the deck tech that we might have a little bit of a not great matchup in like the sacrifice style matchups, because of course we notably don't have any Cauldron Familiar, we don't have any Witch's Oven, we don't have any, obviously, Mayhem Devils, things like that, and those cards are very, very strong in those sacrifice style matchups and would be strong against us. And sure enough, of our 4 games, 2 of them were those sacrifice decks. In fact, we did end up losing. They were pretty close, and in fact, the one I do feel like I kind of punted away. There was a pivotal turn where I played the Ravenous Chupacabra with Village Rites in hand, and then I put the Journey to Eternity in it, but didn't leave up Village Rites. I think that was a mistake. I think you know, it was just too greedy. We were trying to do too much. I was really supposed to just wait on the Journey to Eternity, and then get down the next turn or something. But behold, I got greedy and we got punished. So that said, you know, like I say, it was a lot of fun. I'd love to see what you folks might do with this, you know, what additions or subtractions you might make. Notably, we're only a 3 of on Journey to Eternity because it is a legendary. You know, let me know what you think you would rather do. It's possible, maybe since we're only on a 3 of Journey to Eternity, maybe we are supposed to have 1 extra Panharmonicon, or maybe 2 Panharmonicon or something like that. But let me know down in the comments below what you think. And if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and stuff. That, you know, really helps. I appreciate it. That said, I will catch you all next time.